Good evening. A hospital trust which serves patients across the West Midlands has been criticised for a toxic atmosphere and a bullying culture in a major report into patient safety.
The review into University Hospital's Birmingham Trust follows the death of a young doctor who took her own life, having said she felt belittled at work. Well, Charlotte Cross has been examining the findings today. Charlotte, toxic and bullying, very strong words to use. How far does this report go?
Well, Steve, it is an absolutely damning report. More than 50 whistleblowers have been involved in drawing it up as well. Now, it's been done by the Birmingham and Solihull Integrated Care Board, and it identifies a number of issues, among them high mortality rates and staffing shortages. And as you've mentioned, it also speaks of a long-standing toxic and bullying culture with an overzealous and coercive approach by management. Again, really strong words there. Now, these failings are illustrated in absolutely tragic detail by the death of Dr. Vaishnavi Kumar. Now, she worked at the Trust. She took her own life in June last year. Her father is among those who've been speaking out today.
Happy birthday to you.
In happier times, Dr. Vaishnavi Kumar sings along with her family as she celebrates her birthday. But her work life was a different story. A report out today speaks of how in the months leading up to her death, she cried most nights upon returning home from working at University Hospitals Birmingham, where she felt belittled, criticised and condescended to. Something she directly referenced in her suicide note.
That is what she has written in the letter, which we have given to the coroner as well. That she says in one line that I blame entirely on QE, where she was working, and she apologised for what she is doing to her mother.
Today's report reflects criticism that Trust management were insensitive and callous after her death. Nobody from the senior team attended her funeral, and one senior manager was apparently completely unaware, emailing Dr. Kumar personally 26 days later to ask why she wasn't at work and whether she was still being paid.
What planet are these people living on? Are they living on Mars or somewhere where they don't get any news or anything? Vaish's demise was widely reported and in the press. And where were these people? It really hurts. I mean, I had to use all these harsh words. I'm not used to using all these harsh words, but it really hurts.
The report's primary focus was on patient safety, and it makes clear there is a direct link between a negative culture at a hospital trust and outcomes for patients.
This report has got to be the start of a process that makes sure that nobody feels in that position in the future. That involves big changes at the Trust. But we owe it to the staff, we absolutely owe it to the memory of Dr. Kumar, and we owe it to patients to make sure that happens going forward.
Other findings include mortality rates of around 10% higher than at other trusts. There were 12 of the most serious kind of errors, known as never events, reported to NHS England in the year between April 2020 to March 2021. That's the highest for a single organisation. And 4 of these related to the transfusion of incorrect blood products or organs, which was half of all of those type of events reported nationally.
I've been in the organisation since 2014 and I fully accept any responsibility for anything that I may have done or contributed to during that time. And what I've demonstrated in the last 3 months since taking up the role of Chief Executive is absolute willingness to listen to what everybody's got to say, and I am committed to making sure that we change.
Summarising the findings, the report author said the overall view was that the Trust is a safe place to receive care, but that is threatened by a culture which is corrosively affecting morale. And it says these problems seem to remain entrenched, requiring serious attention. Well, to help the Trust to try to take the action the report says it needed, it makes a total of 17 recommendations. Now, these include external reviews into the never events involving incorrect transfusions, which we heard about, and the mortality rates. It's also recommended awareness training on how to identify issues of bullying, coercion, intimidation and misogyny, and a review of support on offer to junior doctors who have concerns about their mental health. Now, today's report was just the first of 3 phases of investigation, and it's being supported by a cross-party reference group chaired by Edgbaston MP Preet Gill. Now, we spoke to her earlier on today to see what she wants to happen now.
The things that raise concerns for me in this first summary is, where is the accountability? Who is responsible? What's the timelines? What's the linkage between culture and patient safety? Things have got to change. We can't just keep brushing things under the carpet. We can't be told, yes, it's going to change. We actually want to see fundamental change, but they also want to be part of that change.
Charlotte, we've heard the Trust's response to the report, but how has it been received by the others who are involved?
Well, Sam, some breaking news this afternoon. The former chief executive of the Trust, that's Professor David Rosser, today decided to retire from his new role at the Integrated Care Board. Of course, he has directly and indirectly been criticised as part of this report, having overseen the culture there for many years. Meanwhile, the report itself says that a certain amount of goodwill towards the investigation team seemed to dissipate quite quickly, perhaps an indication of the historical reluctance to accept criticism of care at the Trust. And Preet Gill did also tell us today that she encountered a kind of defensiveness when she was dealing with the Trust as well. There has also been some criticism of the report itself, including from Dr. Kumar's father, who we heard from a moment ago. Now, he said he believes that the report doesn't go far enough, and he believes that it's glossed over some of the more negative aspects of what happened to his daughter. But as I say, this is the first of 3 phases of the investigation. The next one, phase 2, does focus specifically on culture. So it may be that we get even more detail in the weeks and the months to come.
For now, Charlotte, thank you very much.